I support. There's this thing on Kickstarter that's like it's like a router that you leave at home, right?
Okay.
And what you do is you put your you put your SIM card inside this router, and then you replace it with a SIM card that they give you with the router together.
Okay.
So you leave your SIM card at home with the router next to your internet,
Right.
and basically you put their card in, and your phone becomes usable in any country.
Yeah, he was talking about that.
In terms of like Wi-Fi, internet, calling, texts.
So
like,
let me get this straight. So you buy the thing,
Any
comes with
country.
the thing, and a SIM card. The SIM card that they give you goes into your phone?
Yes, the SIM card that you basically swap out your SIM card,
Right.
put it inside the device, leave it at home, and then put in their SIM card. It essentially makes telco networks obsolete.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, because your SIM card that you bought from the company, or Singtel, say
It connects
Singtel.
back to the one at home.
Yeah.
That is like through internet.
So when you go overseas, do you have to connect the SIM card you have in your phone to like the local thing, or it just works?
It just works.
That's crazy.
No, but it's like, but I love that idea because like I travel a fair bit, and like the worst thing, like sometimes when you take like really short trips, is that you don't bother getting a phone card. Sometimes you don't have a phone card in that country, and like it just sucks to not know where things are with GPS or whatever. I mean, it sucks that we need to rely on it, but still, it's nice that you can have that option too.
So do you have one?
It hasn't been made yet.
Oh shit! But you're on the ground floor.
I'm on the ground
You're
floor.
gonna get one.
It's an
I'm gonna
Indiegogo
get one.
thing.
It's a Kickstarter thing, yeah.
Oh, wow.
What's it called?
I don't remember. If you Google it, like something will come up, like
Google
Kickstarter,
SIM card take with you international
Future.
travel and sleeve at home. Like Bernoulli searching on Google, I find that very fun.
I'm a very effective Googler.
Me too. I Google with the best of them.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the Selfie Toaster.
Yes.
I think it is quite the height of narcissism lah. If you want to purchase a Selfie Toaster for the sole purpose of putting your face on the toast set so that you can eat it or get someone
It is quite right.
eat me.
But
That's
I also
strange.
think that this is quite the narcissism, because instead of taking a selfie with you to
Yeah.
document my wonderful experiences with my co-actor friends, I thought this is a great sort of way to document as well as
No,
make
but
a
it's,
show.
you see, this is a
I'm doing a whole
documentary.
video.
You are documenting something, a conversation that you can watch again. Whereas a Selfie Toaster, you toast your face, then you eat it, and that's it.
And then
Nothing
goes
else.
out and
That's,
then,
you know, it's not really a documenting. I mean, I think that this is slightly different. But you know, while we're on the subject, come, let's take a
Oh,
selfie.
yes, let's take a selfie. And we can post.
Okay, but I'm so hopeless at this. Okay, here we go.
Anna is very good at.
Okay, ready?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I look slightly crazy.
Oh, again.
Okay, you know what's narcissistic? Showing you a photo of our
It's a bit-
selfie.
So now, technology. Usually we feature a new gadget or app.
Wow.
But that's so amazing that you actually created an app.
Yes.
So this is very apt. We can talk about
Sure.
this new app that Jonathan Lim has created.
Wow,
What,
okay.
You've told me a little bit about it, but
It's pretty exciting. About 2 years ago, I took a little sabbatical, and I said, and I want to do something creative that was different from what I usually do. So I had lots of ideas, and I shopped them around to different people, and finally, one idea coalesced into a really cool thing, because I've always wanted to sort of deal with heritage in Singapore. I've always believed that we can't go forward if we don't understand where we came from, history and heritage. And one of the places that's always been very important to me is Haw Par Villa, right? And so me and some friends had a project called Haw Par Viva at one
Okay.
point, which was about reviving interest in Haw Par Villa, right?
Nice.
Because it's kind of forgotten, and people think it's closed, people think it's, whatever, but it's still there, it's still open, it's free, but nobody knows, right? So that spun into a game. Because someone said, what better way to bring people there than to give them something to do, right?
Right.
And I thought, maybe I can do a series of adventures, that go around the island, and I'll set the first one at Haw Par Villa.
Okay.
Right? And I was going to write a book. And then someone said, no, Singaporeans don't read, right? but they'll be on their phones. So if your book can go on a phone, and I thought, okay, right. So someone said, do an app.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, let's do one of those choose your own adventure type
Nice.
apps, right? So choice based, and then solve riddles and stuff like that.
Okay.
So we created this club. They're called the Kok Ai Club,
Okay.
right? Because the leader is Tan Kok Ai,
Okay.
right? But also because they see Singapore in a very cockeyed way.
Okay.
When they look at Singapore, they look for the clues to the past. Rather than
Okay.
see the new mall and the new station and the new Starbucks,
Right.
they see, hey, that building's been there a really long time.
Right.
Hey, I wonder how old that is.
Alright, so
You
it's
know?
not necessarily just about Haw Par Villa. That's just
Oh
the
no,
set.
yeah, Hoppa's the first adventure.
Ah,
right?
okay.
But so these two kids, Tan Kok Ai and his alien friend Apricot Lo,
Okay.
right? I love that name so much. So the two of them are really sharp-eyed and they both have a passion for history, And so in this first adventure, they're in Haw Par Villa, and they're arguing among themselves, and then suddenly they meet this guy, this American-born Chinese guy who needs their help, right? Apparently, his father, who buys jade,
Right.
bought a consignment of jade that was sold by the Orr family who built Haw Par Villa.
Okay.
And in a hidden drawer, he found a bunch of riddles
Right.
that were apparently created by Orr Boon Haw, who built Haw Par Villa,
Okay.
for his family to test them.
Wow.
And now they're in his hands. But being American-born Chinese, he feels he doesn't know enough about what's in Haw Par Villa. So he gives it to these two kids and says,
Okay.
can you do something?
Right.
And then you become their friend, joining them
Ah.
on this adventure to
Interesting.
solve these 12 riddles, right? But you have to do it at Haw Par Villa.
Wow.
So
So
yeah.
it's GPS based.
No, it sits on your phone, but
Right.
everything's sort of coded into the statues. So
Okay.
it's kind of like Da Vinci Code.
Wow.
Where if you find the right statue, the statue will point the way to the next one, and then you sort of follow
How
the
fun.
trail. It's great fun. As long as they
And-
don't move the statues around, we're fine, right?
Okay.
So
And does the Haw Par Villa does the Haw family know about this?
no, the Orr family no longer owns it. So,
Okay.
yeah, they've given
So-
Haw Par Villa to the Singapore government, so
Alright.
it's completely ours. And it's exciting because if you play the game,
Mm-hmm.
right, you actually get to know most of Haw Par Villa in one journey. It's really quite kind of
Wow.
fun. So as you run around solving it, you're also learning, right,
Very
and discovering. And so it's great for young people who've never been there, but it's also great for older folks who want a reason to revisit,
Right.
right? And it's kind of exciting. But we also did something else with it. We realized that for normal visitors who
Mm-hmm.
perhaps don't have the time to play the game,
Right.
right? Haw Par Villa can be quite confusing because
Okay.
it's all these statues and no explanation of who they are and what they are.
Yeah.
And if you're not Chinese, even harder because a lot of it is based on legends and myths that you may have heard as a child. But if you haven't heard, then you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So we've created the first ever full guide to Haw Par Villa.
Wow. So
Every
that's a
single statue.
That's a separate app.
It's in the app.
Oh, it's in the app.
You get
Okay.
the game or you get the guide, right? And so now every single statue in Haw Par Villa has been named, identified, dated.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. We had a lot of work to do, but it was very worth it. So it's kind of cool.
So awesome. And this
Yeah.
was it government funded in some
Yeah.
ways?
This is with the support of the SG50 Celebration Fund,
Very nice.
right? Which is why we have to finish it by 31st December because SG50 is ending.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's at least the first adventure. We don't know who's gonna fund the second adventure,
Okay.
or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth.
But that also depends on, I guess, the more people play it and the
Yeah.
more support you get.
and the more attention it will draw lah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're hoping to do adventures for like Fort Canning and Kampong Glam and all that. So
Nice.
the Kok Ai Club can become this kind of special Singaporean sort of investigative team. I think it's quite
That's
cool.
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, check it out, guys.
But still.
Okay, speaking of which, you guys had the privilege. I really wanted to try it, but you guys
The
had the privilege
segues in
to
this, holy
try
shit, right?
to try the Sony VR, which is a new
Yeah,
technology.
buddy.
It's Sony
PlayStation VR.
PlayStation Virtual Reality,
Yeah.
which hooks up to your PS4, right?
Yes.
To get,
Yeah, it's better than
Um,
real reality, to be honest.
and
but
so I want to
finish.
find out, Nathan
Yeah.
and John, what was that like? Is it like watching a 3D movie?
That's me.
That's John wearing the
John,
headset,
so cute,
getting
doing the-
scared of electronic sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you
here's
guys
the-
were cringing right into a corner. You were saying something.
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the
How
thing.
frightening was that?
First of all, I'm confused because I feel like this technology has been coming out since I was a kid, and only now is it finally.
Yeah.
So this VR thing. So you put on the goggles, right?
How good is it?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
How would you compare it to a 3D movie?
It's worlds
a
different. You
completely
can't
different
really
experience.
compare it to a
How-
3D movie. What
why
you should
not?
compare it to is a video game.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
imagine that you're playing a video game, but instead of just your screen,
Yeah.
it's completely all 360 around you.
That is the most
So you
That's-
need space, though. You need space.
Not
in your
really.
room.
Not really.
If I play
You
in my room,
really-
I'm gonna bang into things.
No,
Not
because
entirely.
that's what the goggles are. So it's
Yeah.
projected onto your goggles. So, for example, like one of their main things to showcase like the technology.
You move with a controller. You don't
You have a
move by
controller.
walking around the room.
Oh no, you don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe
that's
one, maybe
confusion.
one day.
But then
Soon.
I wouldn't feel like I'm okay.
No,
Okay, but that's the thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, John, go on.
Yeah. So the main thing they did to show it off was like this deep sea thing, and that's the photo that Nathan showed you. Was like
Right.
you get put into a shark cage and you get lowered down, and then you look around everywhere around you is water,
frightening.
and it changes, right? And you look down and you can see like a wreckage of a ship and stuff, and the shark comes after you, and you're like looking for the shark. Like the shark starts biting to the cage and stuff. It was the worst, most terrifying experience of my life.
But like the
Do
thing
you feel
is,
the vibrations though? Of
Yes.
you hear it, you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it,
yeah.
you feel it.
well, it
How?
depends because like you hold on to the controller and the controller can vibrate.
Okay,
and it has
okay.
all these different prompts. But
Was
like
it
the
just
thing
a
is,
standard controller? I don't remember.
there's two different things you can do. Either the standard controller or the
There's, like,
PlayStation
two
Move
handheld
controller.
ones.
Like,
Yeah,
I think
that's
there
right,
was,
that's right, that's
like a dildo with a light on it. But like, it's so immersive because two of your most used senses are being completely overwhelmed. Your sense of
and
hearing
sound, yeah.
And sight.
and your sense of sight.
Yeah.
And like it's being completely overwhelmed by this world
Mhm.
that like you're completely fine that like you can't walk around and move. Like that's kind of you don't really fault it for that.
Yeah.
But the demos that we tried for the most part, it required us to stay put anyway.
Okay.
So the one that I tried
It was a
was
scary one.
it was
right?
a horror based VR
Yeah, I only
experience.
caught half of this one.
You're like
Oh.
tied up to a chair.
Yeah.
I am guessing you're just some kind of detective. It's called The Kitchen. I think if you YouTube it, you can find it. But you're tied to a chair, and your partner comes to help you and comes to untie you. As he's untying you, a weird exorcist-looking girl comes up behind him, and essentially eats him.
Yep.
Oh.
And this whole time, you're tied to the chair, and like I have the VR on and everything, and I know. I'm just sitting on a chair in a room, nothing's real, but I was legit terrified because the sound
my
design was
gosh.
beautiful. I think the biggest thing that PlayStation VR does exceptionally well is the surround sound. So when I
Okay.
turned my head away because I was a puss, I was like, oh, like weird monster girl looking at me
here.
with scary eyes. I'm
Right.
turning my head away.
Turn,
and
you can hear it
the
through the
sound
right.
Oh
the
my
sound
gosh.
focuses on the right side, and that makes it even more real.
It's
Right.
really
But you
smart.
don't see her anymore though.
You don't know. I mean,
It actually shifts
yeah,
the-
she's
the-
still there, but it
But
just
you
kind
can
of
hear
You can
it.
you can choose because you can choose to look
Oh
away.
my god.
Yeah.
Like when I was looking for the shark, I was literally like this.
Yeah.
I was like, "Where the fuck is that shark, man?"
Right.
It even got to the point. It was so
Wow.
immersive, and the graphics were top notch.
Peed himself.
Yeah, it was no, but like when I
It'd be
turned my head
interesting
away,
to film people
yeah,
just with the
Yeah,
headset.
yeah. But like when I turned my head away, right, like it felt so real to me that I could have sworn like
Oh my
it could have just been
gosh.
aircon, but I swore like I felt someone breathing down my neck,
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
and
There's
that's why I
like-
was like doing this.
There's like a
Wow.
75% chance that was me doing that.
Okay.
I think I went up to
Could've
it.
been The other thing is, how would you compare that to the Oculus Rift then? Is that how you pronounce it? Oculus
Yeah, I think the
Rift.
Oculus Rift is like, did they patent the technology? I have no idea. But Oculus Rift, they are definitely like the pioneers in terms of like getting it right the first time.
What is it? It's a gaming system as well. Is it?
Yeah,
It's a
but they're-
virtual reality. It's the same
But-
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
But like all of them, I think the only one that's available on the market right now is the Steam VR.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But the Oculus Rift is still in its beta phasing. You can buy it as a beta tester, but they don't sell it as like a finished product.
Okay.
PlayStation VR, they didn't tell us the release date.
Right.
But in
Just-
general, PS VR was a lot more immersive.
Right.
Like Oculus was cool, but it's been around for a fairly long time.
Right.
So, and a lot of the games that they have there are more basic and less like boutique designer studios like creating full-on experiences.
Okay.
Yeah.